Well, hello again. Welcome to Chess Base Workshop. My name is Steve Lopez. Thank you for clicking on that link and joining us. Been looking at the new features of Fritz13. Let's check. Worldwide community of Fritz13 users analyzing positions, analyzing games, and contributing their analysis to a master database. Pretty cool stuff, pretty heady stuff. The idea that hundreds, even thousands of people can be contributing to a central server of chess analysis is a pretty big deal. We've been looking at different ways to analyze positions in games and whatnot with Let's Check. What I want to look at here is how to retrieve some analysis that someone has already done. That's pretty easy to do. What I've done, first of all, is load a game. Now, what engine you load doesn't matter. Your engine isn't going to enter into what we do here today. Your engine is not going to run at all. You want to load a game that you want to have analyzed, or you want to see if someone has analyzed, I should say. And what we have here, I picked a game I thought was going to be pretty obvious that someone had done, which is the third game of the World Championship in 1972 between Fischer and Spassky. This was the first game that Fischer won in that epic contest back in 1972. So I thought it was almost a guarantee that someone has already analyzed this game and contributed analysis to the server. So I chose this one. As it turns out, I was correct. I've actually already checked. I cheated. I went ahead and looked already. But this is where you begin, which is your main screen in Fritz13. You've got your game loaded. Now, where do you go next? That's the trick. Well, normally we would go to the engine menu to do Let's Check features, but this time around we're going to do a different menu. For this particular feature, we're going to go to Analysis instead. When you go to the Analysis menu and you roll your mouse over the button that says Let's Check Analysis, you get a mouse over pop-up that says Analyze the full game with variations from Let's Check. And there is a keyboard shortcut. If you can remember that, I dare you. But you've got a shortcut for it, and you can click on that button. Excuse me. When you click on that button, what you will see is this pop up. There are three kinds of analysis that you can do after clicking on the Let's Check Analysis button to have a game analyzed. One of them is standard analysis. That's just basically you're going to analyze the game like you always do, but you're going to contribute your analysis to the server. There's one called Win Variations. That's a slight tweak on having your engine analyze a game. Basically what you're going to do is have your engine analyze for a real long time until it wins a variation by analyzing deeper than someone else has already analyzed a particular position. Neither of those is what we're going to look at here. We're going to look at what I've already checked, which is retrieval only. You have time settings. It does not enter into it here. You don't have to worry with the time settings. The only thing you have to fool with when you do retrieval only is this. Make sure retrieval only is selected, and you can check usernames and include text comments. Usernames being the name of the user whose engine generated the analysis. Text comments we've not looked into yet, but you can manually add text comments to positions on the Let's Check server. So if someone's added text comments, I'd certainly like to see those, so I've selected that. The default is usernames. That's there by default. If you want to do text comments, you'll have to check it yourself, as I've already done here. So what we have is, and what we're going to do is, let me give you, I want a close-up of this. We'll zoom in a little bit here. Oops, got the wrong button there. Let's try that. There we go. That's what I want. We go into Let's Check Analysis. And this is what we see. This cuts out everything else that's on the screen. It just allows us to zoom right in on that one particular dialogue. Just check retrieval only. Put a little tick in the radio button next to that. And check text comments and usernames. Once again, your engine is not going to enter into this at all. So you don't need to worry with times. It doesn't matter what engine you have selected. I have Fritz13 selected. It doesn't matter because the engine is not going to enter into this. It's going to be strictly going out to the server and retrieving any analysis that's already there, that's already been done by other users. So I have a little short video clip. When I went ahead and checked this before, I videoed it, and we're going to do a short video clip, and then we're going to come back after this short silent video clip and discuss the results. Now, I don't know if you were timing that or not, but what happened was, if you go back and watch that little video clip, Fritz goes out onto the server and goes through the game twice. It makes 2 passes through the game. It goes through and it finds the analysis, puts it into the game, and it does it by making 2 passes. It does it very quickly. I don't know if you were timing that or not. It took about 20 seconds, give or take, to go through and do this, 20 or 22 seconds. It was very quick. Doesn't take long at all. And what we have now is we have analysis of this game. This has already been done by other people. You can see the little 3-move variations that have been put in. We have, for example, let's take a look here. After knight h5, we come to find out that whatever engine analyzed this position thought that white was ahead by about 1/3 of a pawn, 0.34. However, had black played knight b6, white replied with bishop d1, white played bishop g4, I'm sorry, black played bishop g4, you would have had a position that's evaluated as being about 1/5 of a pawn in white's favor. After a 21-ply deep search by Deep Fritz13, and Piper was the name of the user that was running Deep Fritz12 when this position was analyzed. So what we have is an engine's opinion of what's going on in this position. And you get multiple engines, by the way. If you scroll down through this, I counted 8 different engines contributed analysis to this particular game. There was Deep Fritz12, Deep Ribka 4. Somebody used actual, just regular Fritz12 at one point. Somebody had used Fritz13. There were a couple of different versions of Ribka, smattering of other engines in there as well. So there were 8 different engines contributed their analysis. But what you're basically looking at is for every position in the game, every move out of the opening book, it basically stops the opening book. Rook e8 is a book move. So at this point, starting with Queen c2, we start to see new things or non-book moves from these players. Starting with Queen c2, we have a numerical analysis of each position. As we said, positive numbers are in white's favor, negative numbers are in black's favor. We have short variations, only 3 moves long, 3 plies long, 3 half moves to be blunt about it, to be more accurate. Little short variations with an evaluation. The depth, the number after the slash, is always how many plies deep a particular engine looked, the name of the engine that contributed the analysis, and the name of the user who was running that engine. What I find endlessly fascinating for each of these games that we analyze this way is we get an engine-game correlation. How often the engine agrees with what a player actually played. In this case, the engines agree with white 71% of the time, with black 63% of the time. Also interesting because black won this game. So apparently most of the agreement occurs early in the game with white. Actually, I was taking a look at this game earlier, and I did find out that Spassky excuse me, is cooking along pretty well, and then starts to err somewhere in the 20s of moves, and that's where the variance begins to happen for him. So it's interesting to go back and compare what the players actually play compared to what the engines think. And of course, a lot of that variance occurs because we have 8 different engines contributing analysis to this game, not one engine looking, straight through it. That's basically how you do it. It's all there is to it. You just go to the analysis menu, click the proper button, click retrieval, and it goes out onto the server and pulls up any analysis that someone's already done for a game. Before you go analyzing a game, before you analyze a historical game or a master game, grandmaster game, it's always a good idea to go and just retrieve some analysis. Go look, because it takes no time at all to look. As we saw here, it took about 20 seconds to make 2 passes through the game and drop in the analysis. It actually goes a little bit quicker. If there is no analysis, you'll find out within seconds, 15 to 20 seconds typically, if a game has not been analyzed. So before you analyze a game, check the Let's Check server using Fritz13 and see if anyone has already analyzed it. You can pull up their analysis. If you're going to save this analysis, by the way, to your hard drive, if you'd like to maintain it, retain it, go to the File menu and select Replace Game. Otherwise, the next time you load a game, this analysis will be gone. You'll have to go retrieve it again. So do remember to do that. But even if you save this game in this form, there's nothing that says you can't go along and analyze it using full analysis or blunder check yourself. Even analyze the engine analysis and see what your own engine says compared to the engines that have already analyzed the game. So that's all there is to it. Very simple to do. And next time around, we'll look at another Let's Check feature of Fritz13. Till then, for Chess Base Workshop, I'm Steve Lopez, reminding you to please do have fun.